Ammo. A precious resource on the battlefield for every faction. Shut up, vampire counts. And much like magic, it's one of those resources that can be easily squandered if you don't think about what you're doing. So this tactic is going to give you a couple of things to think about regarding your ammo. Firstly, we'll go over a couple of quick basics just in case you're an absolute joke of a noob. So if you've watched any of my videos before, you've probably heard me say things like, "Prioritize your targets, boys. Stop wasting your ammo on that peasant mob, you dick." That means that when an enemy comes into range, whether of missiles or artillery, you focus down the important dangerous units rather than the crappy cheap ones. Basic stuff. The other thing is that if you've got both armor piercing and non-armor piercing missile types, you'll generally try to use your non-armor piercing ammo on the lighter targets without any armor, and you'll use the armor piercing against those heavier, more elite troops. So those are a couple of simple rules for using your ammo wisely, right? But have you ever thought about shields? Many units have either a bronze shield or a silver shield. Orc boys, for example, have a bronze shield, which blocks 35% of incoming missiles. That's quite a lot. Or a unit could have a silver shield, like good old Gobos, which blocks a mighty 55% of incoming missiles, which is a hell of a lot. That means that over half of your ammo is going to be wasted shooting at this unit. But is it really? Let's have a little test and find out. Here we've got a bunch of dread spears. They have a silver shield, so that 55% block chance. 2 of the units are facing towards the missiles, and 2 of the units have their back to the missiles, so their shields won't come into play. So will the 55% really matter that much? Well, the unshielded unit has taken about half health damage, while the shielded one has only taken a quarter of its health damage. So that adds up with the 55%. And the other thing to think about, if you take a look at the ground, there's a lot of arrows that simply never connected with a target. So on top of the 55% chance that you won't hit your target because of the shield, there's also a percentage chance that the projectile will simply miss. Meaning overall, when you're blasting away at a silver shielded unit, you're probably getting 65 to 70% of your ammo not actually doing any damage because it's either missing or hitting a shield. And that is quite significant. As you can see here, the 2 unshielded dread spears have broken now, they've run away, less than quarter of their health left, while the shielded version still has half of their health left, and they're doing alright. The unshielded have returned, they're going to run away again, while the other dread spears are still holding strong. So when it comes to ammo management, if you look at these archers, they've basically got no ammo left, and they've only been firing at one single unit. Those silver shields have used up all of that ammo. So that's something to think about when you start blasting away at those silver shields. 70% of your ammo is probably not doing anything. With a bronze shield, it's probably around 50% that's not doing anything. So when it comes to prioritizing targets, shields is definitely something to be aware of, especially silver shields. These gobos here are chasing off some Deepwood scouts, and they're absolutely eating up the Deepwood scouts' ammo. But who's really winning here? Well, it's most definitely the gobos if an engagement plays out like this. These goblins here, just about to break from all the missile fire from the Deepwood scouts. This might look like a victory for the Deepwood scouts, but oh, they've got less than a quarter of their ammo left. So that is definitely a win for those 300 cost goblins. So the remedy to this is to simply not shoot those shields in the front. Try to hit those units in the back, like these tomb guards with halberds here, or even these skeleton spearmen. I've maneuvered my skirmish units to be able to shoot them in the back, rather than wasting ammo shooting them in the front. This is generally a good idea for silver and bronze shields, but it's not always going to be possible, so if you need to shoot some shields, it's not the end of the world, but understand that this isn't the most effective use of your ammo. It's really just about trying to look for opportunities to make the best use of your ammo, like shooting shielded units in the back or sides, like on these Saurus warriors here. I've maneuvered so that I can shoot them in the back, making better use of this Free Company militia ammo and also helping weaken those Saurus warriors. Sometimes though, it will just be better to shoot those Saurus warriors from the front if you need to soften them up a bit. Maybe your infantry won't be able to beat them without a bit of damage on them, so you're going to need to shoot them in the front and waste a bit of ammo to get that done. So it's not that you should never ever shoot at shields, it's just that it's a bit wasteful to do so. And if you're using all of your ammo on silver shields, well, that can just be plain stupid. So be sure to look for those opportunities to make the most of your ammo. For example, let's say we've got some handgunners who are an armor-piercing missile unit, and running towards them is some Chosen, a mighty powerful unit who have a silver shield, so they are going to block a lot of those incoming missiles. Also running towards them is some Chaos Warriors with great weapons, also very dangerous, but they don't have shields. So it might be the better call to aim for those unshielded units because more of your missiles will land and do damage on the enemy. You will, however, need to find another way to deal with those chosen. If you don't have one, then maybe shooting them anyway will be a good shout. And to be honest, sometimes shooting things even though they've got good missile defense is a necessary evil, such as Sartherial the Slippery Bastard Everwatcher. He can be very difficult to damage because you can't keep a hold of him, so missiles can be the only way to take him down. But he has a 50% missile resistance, so you'll probably still need to try and shoot him, even though it's a little bit wasteful. So it's important to think about your ammo management and not wasting your ammo, but it's also incredibly useful to try and waste the enemy's ammo, waste their resources. Take advantage of the enemy having their units on fire at will, and or skirmish. For example, here I've got my green boys facing high elves, and I've got some 8-peak loonies chasing after shadow warriors and some Illyrian reavers, both skirmish units capable of running away and still shooting me at the same time, kiting me. But the beauty of the 8-peak loonies is not only that they're gobos and have a silver shield, but they're also unbreakable, so they will take all the missiles and they won't go anywhere until they're all dead. They've got a good chance of avoiding most of the missiles because of the shield and the ones that will just miss, and if they want to get rid of them, they'll have to kill every single last goblin. And because these two units have been on skirmish and fire at will, they've used up most of their ammo. The Illyrian reavers are pretty much out, and the shadow warriors have got about a quarter of their ammo left, but I'm still pursuing them. And then by the time they've killed my last night goblin, well, they're all out of ammo pretty much. These shadow warriors aren't going to be too much use, they're still okay in melee, but it doesn't really matter because these two units have been chased off, and there isn't a lot of high elves left to defend them anyway. He should have just attacked my 8-peak loonies in melee to get rid of them. So be sure to look for those situations where you can force somebody to waste their ammo, but make sure it's with units that don't really matter to you too much. Don't use your demigryphs to try and catch goblin wolf riders like this clown, because they're just not going to catch them and they're going to soak up a load of damage at the same time because those demigryphs don't have shields. He's using up my ammo, but for me it's on a worthwhile target, so I'm winning this engagement. So be sure to keep an eye out for those opportunities where you can waste an opponent's ammo. Usually cheap expendable units are a good way to do this, especially if they're rocking a shield. As I said, most people and the AI will leave their units on fire at will so you can force them to use up their ammo. Rather they blast away at your cheap units than your expensive ones, right? And one last trick that can be useful for wasting your enemy's artillery ammo, obviously that isn't affected by shields, but it is very easy to make miss. If you have a large flying lord or hero or just a large dragon or something, it's very easy to draw the enemy into firing at you and then to change direction and have that projectile miss very easily. It's super easy to dodge, provided you give yourself a bit of range. This can work against players or the AI, and it's just a great way to make your opponent waste his ammo. It's not going to work with all kinds of artillery, but things like cannons are pretty easy to dodge. A nice simple way though to force your enemy to waste his ammo. So there you go, some things to think about on ammo management. Watch out for those silver shields because they will soak up your ammo, unless you can shoot them from the sides or back so that their shields don't count anymore. And this goes for bronze shielded units as well. And secondly, try to waste your opponent's ammo where possible, preferably with expendable units. Blasting your ammo into shields or into unshielded units can be the difference between a few hundred or maybe even 1,000 points of damage. So be sure to think about where your ammo is going and whether that target is worthwhile. I hope you've enjoyed this, thanks for watching, I will see you in the future.